Hey guys, coming to you today with the what's next on Thomas Dulorme, former world title challenger. Dulorme hasn't fought since September of last year when he scored kind of a mild upset as he defeated rising prospect undefeated Terrell Williams. A lot of people thought Williams was going to beat Dulorme. Dulorme was just a kind of a stepping stone veteran. Dulorme had a different story for that. That's his second year in a row that he's pulled off a mild upset. He had that draw with Jesse Vargas in 2018 that kept him in the mix. Now, he's still considered to be part of the top 10. And next up, he was supposed to face Jamal James in what was either an interim title fight or a final eliminator in the WBA. But that fight got scrapped due to the coronavirus pandemic. So it's probably still what he's doing, leaning towards next. But let's take a look at some of the options in the top 10 if that fight doesn't happen. We start with number 1, Errol Spence Jr. I don't think Spence would consider a fight with Dulorme. He just doesn't have the name for it, even in a tune-up comeback fight. Excuse me. But Dulorme's been working with the PBC, and Spence is with the PBC, so I wouldn't completely rule it out, but I really doubt it. Number 2 would be a rematch with undefeated WBO champion Terrence Crawford. Don't see this fight happening. Crawford dominated and stopped Dulorme back in, I forget the year exactly, but it was for the 140-pound title. It's probably in 2015 in that area. And, Dulorme just doesn't have the name, and he's a PBC guy, and I don't think, there wouldn't make any sense for Crawford to fight him. He's not a big name. Number 3 is the Pac-Man Manny Pacquiao. Not a big name at all. Doesn't really deserve this fight. Wouldn't really do much for Pacquiao. Pacquiao fought him and beat him, so this fight's not happening. Keith Thurman. Now, if the Jamal James fight for some reason falls through, or he has a chance to face a guy like Thurman over Jamal James, I think the fight's possible. Dulorme's on that kind of level that Thurman might consider before a big fight next year. And when Thurman comes back, it's going to be over a year, possibly close to a year and a half by the time he returns towards the end of this year. I think Dulorme is the type of fighter he might face. So then again, Dulorme might be too good. He might be just a level above the guys that Thurman is considering to fight on his comeback. So we'll see. But I do think it's more possible. Number 5, former two-time world champion Sean Porter. Can see this fight going down. Porter obviously wants bigger names, bigger things. He's gonna try for those, but this guy's in the top 10. PBC guy, easy fight to make. Porter to stay active ahead of a big fight or to try to get a final eliminator. I think he'd consider Dulorme. Number 6, Danny Garcia. Another guy, same thing. Danny's trying to get in line for Pacquiao or Errol Spence next. If he's desperate, I could see him fighting a guy like Dulorme, but I think Danny's really trying to get away from these second level, third level type welterweights and go straight to the A level guys. So I don't think so, but it could happen. Number 7, Yordenis Ugas. Now this fight is possible, I believe, because Ugas, Dulorme is ranked in the WBA. He's number 10, so he's down there, but Ugas is ranked number 1. They're both with the PBC. They might just say, fuck it, and let these two guys slug it out. We got to see. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think it could happen. Number 8, Mikey Garcia. Definitely don't think Mikey's trying to reach down to this level and fight another guy on this level. Dulorme doesn't even have the name that Jesse Vargas has. Mikey wants to fight big-name fighters. I think he's going to get a big name in his next fight one way or the other. Personally, I think Mikey's going to fight Pacquiao, so I don't see Dulorme being an option. Sergey Lipinets, he's fighting for the interim title next, and then after that, if he wins, he's going to be in line to fight Errol Spence or whoever the IBF champion is. So Dulorme would be a step back, not going to happen. And then the guys that are tied for 10th with Dulorme start with a rematch with Jesse Vargas. I don't see this fight happening. I'd love to see it because it was a good fight first time around, and they fought to a draw just a couple years ago, actually a year and a half ago. But Vargas fights for DAZN. Dulorme's with the PBC now. Vargas likely moving back up to 154 after failing when he came down to fight Mikey Garcia. So I'm not seeing this one happening. And then lastly is also tied for 10th is Josecito Lopez, former world title challenger. I just don't see it. I would love the fight. And I think if these guys both don't have options, they could face each other. But I think Lopez wants a bigger name, especially after 2019 that he had. Dulorme, like I said, looks like he's fighting Jamal James next. Wouldn't completely rule it out because they're both PBC guys, but I'm going to lean towards the less likely. So now, what do I think Dulorme is going to do next? I personally think he's going to go forward with the fight with Jamal James. It's going to help either guy move up in the rankings in the WBA to try to get a world title shot. Remember, you got 2 champions in the WBA going on right now. You got Pacquiao's a super champ. You got I think Alexander Vesputin's the regular champ. So it's going to be interesting. But yeah, that's what I think for Dulorme. He's going to face Jamal James next. Personally, I think Jamal James is going to beat him. But Dulorme's been surprising people the last 2 years, fighting to that draw with Jesse Vargas and then defeating Terrell Williams. So he's riding high on confidence. He's not afraid to fight anybody. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the veteran Dulorme does against Jamal James. That's it, guys. Former world title challenger Thomas Dulorme, the What's Next? True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.